Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this lesson is going to be dealing with the Russian and the Ukraine situation to some degree, but ultimately it's going to be dealing with World War III. Okay. We know we're not in World War III as of yet. All right. This is a situation that's going to affect, the economy. It's going to affect the prices of different things, gas and so forth. And Esau's using something to continue what the C-19 was doing as well. Okay. But we understand that World War III is inevitable. Regardless of what, the Americans are not trying to do or what the Russians are not trying to do, the Heavenly Father is going to set off this World War III. And one of the main things that has to happen is it has to be spearheaded or heavily influenced by Amalek, okay, out there in the state of Israel, all right? Why? Because it's prophecy. Okay? Because it's prophecy. Let me get Jeremiah. Let's start with Jeremiah. Matter of fact, I'll start with Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. And it says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Who's the least? Amalek is the least of all the Edomites. Okay? And they're going to draw them out to war. Okay? "Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." Okay? So they're going to cause America to be destroyed, because if something happens to Israel, or if Israel does something, America's going to back Israel 100%. Okay, I'm speaking about the state. All right. Why? Because the ones who rule this earth, okay, are basically, they have a heavy investment in that state. Why? Because that's their people. Okay. I'll put it to you that way. We have to kind of speak in code, okay? Because Esau's looking to flag, but I want to show you something, that this is also to showing you that Edom is tied to Babylon, because Edom and Babylon have the exact same judgment, all right? Because Babylon is the head city of the Edomites. This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon." See, so instead of Edom, it says Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. So instead of saying Teman, it says the land of the Chaldeans. What was the Chaldeans known for? They were known for being the wisest men. They were known for being wise. They were known for being intelligent. Now, Teman is the Germans. Okay, that represents the Germans today. Now, the Germans are the most intelligent out of the Edomites. Okay. That's why there was a big skirmish over those German scientists who created the nuclear bomb. Okay, so this is all code that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is writing this having these prophecies being written in. It's code, and you need the prophets to break it down to you. "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." Going back into what? Going into those Amalekites. Okay, they're going to draw them out to war. "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations." Meaning what? The earth shall rail to and fro like a drunkard. That's what the scriptures say. The scriptures speak about there being a great earthquake when Babylon is finally destroyed. Right? This is Revelations 18 And I'll start at verse 9. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning," right? Because she's going to burn with nuclear fire in this World War III. Okay, "standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come." And this shows you that it's not speaking about the whole earth being blown up, like Vocab said at one point. Okay, this is speaking about America being destroyed. That's why there's going to be people standing afar off. And it also speaks about people being, poisoned by drinking the water, because it's going to be radioactive, so to speak. It's going to be bitter. It's going to be polluted. Okay, "and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore." All right, so that's because what Babylon is destroyed. Let's get Isaiah the 34th chapter in the first verse. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." All right. So all those people that go to the war, this was World War III, you're going to be destroyed. Okay. You Jakes that want to fight, join hand in hands with this devil, you're gonna perish just with him. Okay. A lot of you so-called black women and you Latino women, you out there fighting wars like you're some men. Well, you're gonna perish too. And a lot of you are scared, man. Just seen a video that was put up, all right, by the elder Manata Zakba, all right, and the black woman was crying, and the war, and they didn't even get deployed yet. World War III didn't even start yet. You see what I'm saying? So I was getting mad, coming up, what the hell are you doing there, you stupid idiot? And then she's saying, "Oh, no one goes to joins the army thinking you're gonna go to war." Well, that's because you don't have any common sense. All right, if you had common sense, you would understand that there's a risk of you having to go to war by joining the army, fool. All right, and you're not built for that, man. Clearly. But that's good. Now you can show how much of a man you are, how equal you are, man. Okay, I'm glad, man. And I hope they start drafting these hoes too. All right. This is verse 3. It says, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." There's going to be a lot of dead bodies on the streets. Okay, this world war is gonna cause many people to perish, man. Look at the last world wars. This is going to be worse than those. And those world wars were going up close to 100 million. And that's just what they recorded. Okay. So, this one is going to be multiple hundreds of millions, if not billions of people are going to perish, man. All right. Well, it has to be over a billion. It has to be over a billion because, first of all, America is going to be completely destroyed. All right, we know that population is around 300 million. You see? "And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved." So that means what? All these elements are going to be dissolved by that nuclear fire. "And the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." You understand? So the Lord's sword is going to go up into the outer atmosphere. It's going to come right back down and fall down upon Basra, okay, which is the chief city of the Idumeans. That's why it only mentions Idumea. Idumea, which is another way of saying Edom, is not the only nation that's going to be destroyed when those missiles hit. There's going to be many nations that are going to be destroyed. But what is it focusing on? The keepers of the house, the Edomites. Okay? The king of Babylon. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It was made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. See, it's in the land of Idumea. Okay, and it says Basra. That's speaking of America. Okay, and that's really just a sacrifice for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to appease the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. When you had a sacrifice, what would you do with it? You would burn it. So those people that are in America, they're going to be burnt. Okay, now let's jump to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Let's deal with Russia. Okay, let's deal with Russia. This is Ezekiel 38 and verse 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog." You see, Gog and Magog is the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. You have this pastor, this clown. Okay, I don't even remember his name. He's so insignificant. He said Gog is Russia and Magog is China. It has nothing to do with China. This has nothing. China's all the way southeast, man. That has nothing to do with Russia. Okay. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. Right, and let's look where Magog is. First of all, Gog, right, is a son of Japhet. Okay, it's a son of Japhet. That's why you'll have some of these clowns say, "Oh, see, just speaking of Japhet." No, okay, no, okay. It's not speaking about that. It's speaking about, because Esau. What does Esau do? Esau goes to different lands and he takes it over. Right, and he calls himself after those people, like the Greeks. Originally, the Greeks were the Japhites, okay, the Etruscans. But what Esau did was he took them over, he killed them off. All right, and he took on that name for himself. Why does Esau always take on people's name? Because he's a fugitive. He's a fugitive from justice, man. He's trying to hide his identity. That's why when they seen Edomites, they would act like they're not. The Romans would act like they're not Edomites too. All right. See, it says Magog. See, this is where Russia is. This is the Black Sea. All right. And then this up here, you say northeast is Russia. All right. So when it speaks about Magog, it's speaking about what you call Russia today, and the people that occupy Russia today, which are Edomites. Let me see something. Excuse me. Let me see something real quick. This is Psalms 49, verse 11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. You see, so when Esau goes over to a land and takes it over, you know, like for example, America, they call it Amerigo Vespucci, named after Amerigo Vespucci, right? That's an Edomite. They're not Gadites. That's Gad's land, but they took it over from Gad, and now they're Edomites. Now it's an Edomite land. Now it's Edomites run that, right? So when you think of an American, the first thing those people think about is Edomites. The prototypical American family. You understand? So all those lands where Esau is, he did not That's not his land. That's not his original land. That's why he says they oppress a man in his household, even a man in his heritage. Okay? They take over the lands and they call themselves by those names. So they're oppressing people in their heritage. And actually, they steal people's heritage. I.e., that's why, hold on, who's calling themselves the Israelites today? Who's in our land calling themselves after our name? So that should give you guys a hint of how Esau operates. Okay? Anyways, going back to, so you see where Magog is. That's where Russia is. All right? That's exactly, let me pull it up. Oh, Slovakia. Okay, that's exactly where Russia is. All right? So it's speaking about Russia, right? It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Meaning what? He's going to bring them back to that old spirit that they had before. That warlike spirit, that old USSR spirit, okay? The Russians are going to get aggressive. All right? They're going to get aggressive. And eventually, like the Lord said, he said he's going to put an evil thought in their mind. To do what? To shoot off those missiles. And I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So you have to put that in modern terms. This is all code. Okay, you got to put the tanks, all right, the jets, the war vehicles, the guns, the missiles. Persia, meaning what? Iran. That's one of the main players, and that's going to be a major player in this World War III. Is Iran. All right. Let's see what Amalek tries to do to Iran. Let's see what happens, because they've been trying to get to Iran, but they're being guarded. Okay. By Russia. All right. It says Ethiopia and Libya, with them all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer. All right, dealing into Turkey. And Turkey's part of the NATO, but they're not with America. They're really with Russia, man. Okay, their spirit is towards Russia. They don't like America. Okay, and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia's a guard unto these different nations. Okay? These weaker nations. They're a guard because they have financial, economic interest in these nations. So America can't just go and just do what they want with Iran. All right? Or any of these nations that Russia has interest in, because that's gonna cause major friction. You seen them try to touch Ukraine, and they're like, what are you doing? All right. Although we understand to some degree at this particular time, there's a lot of things behind the scenes, that's setting up for this NWO, and this one world currency and so on and so forth. But the Lord, like he said, he's going to put a hook in their jaw, and they're actually going to go full force against America, all right, and their allies, because that's prophecy, all right? Let's get Jeremiah the 50th chapter. Let's start at the first verse. Give me a second. Let me get some water. Okay. It says, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldees by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. And they do worship all these images. They do worship all these different gods in this society. Okay, these elites, they child sacrifice to Molech. That's an ancient Ammonite god, and different gods as well that they deal with. All right, you can watch Archive 81 showing you, that they do that to conjure up what demons and whatnot. But ultimately, right, Jeremiah was thinking of the Babylon of that time. Okay, he was thinking, because he didn't know he didn't see a new Babylon. He's never witnessed a new Babylon. He didn't witness what was the modern day Christmas. He didn't witness the modern day Easter. He didn't witness technology of the modern day era. So he's thinking of that Babylon. But the Heavenly Father was speaking about the new Babylon. Okay, it says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate. And this is how you know it's not speaking about ancient Babylon as well, because the land is still inhabited to this day. It's Iraq. Okay, and none shall dwell therein. Are there people living in Iraq? Yes, we can look up the population of Iraq right now. Let's look up the population of Iraq. Let's look it up. Wow, 40 million people live in Iraq. Okay, so clearly that land is not desolate, and there's many inhabitants in that land. All right, so it's not speaking about that land. Let's get back. It said, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. Okay, they're going to be destroyed. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yahweh their power. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. And this is what we're doing now. We're trying to join ourselves to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that perpetual covenant is going to come when we're beamed up. All right. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. All right, so there's going to be Russia and their allies that's going to come against America. Okay, that's why it says an assembly of nations. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, meaning all those nuclear missiles are going to hit their destinated target. None of them are going to be broken. The missile defense system was a waste of money. Okay, it was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of resources in America, because all of those missiles are going to hit. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and billow as the bulls, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that beareth you shall be ashamed. This is speaking about what? Great Britain. Okay, she's going to be ashamed. Where did America come from? They came out of Great Britain. Behold, the hindermost. That's why you had the Day of Independence Independence Day, where they fought against the British to gain sovereignty. Okay, behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Whew. So it's going to turn into an actual desert. An actual desert. And it says the hindermost. So what does that mean? The other side of the earth. At this time, where was he? He was on the eastern hemisphere. America is on the western hemisphere. It's going to become a great desert. The hindermost is not England. The hindermost is not China. Okay? They were on the same hemisphere. The hindermost would be the land that was all the way across the ocean. You understand? Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Okay? Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Right? What's the bow speaking about? What's the arrow speaking about? That's speaking about those nuclear missiles. All right? Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Okay? Hold on. This is 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter, the 13th verse. Matter of fact, I'll start at the 13th. Matter of fact, let's start at 11. It says, the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. Remember, I spoke about the great earthquake when those nuclear missiles hit? Yeah. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp. Right? To show you this is not speaking about regular arrows. Let's see. It says, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. How is a regular arrow, going to be shot in the ends of the world? I don't care how much steroids you eat, you cannot shoot an arrow to the ends of the world, right? That's obvious. So this is speaking about something different. It's speaking about the nuclear missiles, okay? Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return. That's why it says, come up hither, right? Partake not of her plagues. The main plagues is what? The main plague is those nuclear missiles hitting, that nuclear fire, man. Until they come upon the earth, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Okay, so you see what that's all about, all right? And I wanted to get something dealing with the fact that the allies of America are going to begin to turn on her. Okay, it's all prophecy. So when we see these things happen, we tie it to prophecy. Oh, that's prophecy. Oh, that's prophecy. Okay. This is Revelation 17 and verse 15. It says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth, which the whore is America, okay, which rideth the beast, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, is it not known as a melting pot? A great melting pot? Yeah, America is the great melting pot. All nations are in America. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And what proves that America it has all nations in there is there was this guy named Lao Shu who passed away, and there was a tall Jake who used to speak all these different languages. You know, people were amazed at him, but he was speaking he was going into Assyrian, he was going into all languages that you could think of, and he found people in America that spoke those languages and spoke to them. I can't do that in Canada. There's not as much nations in America as there is in Canada. Okay, there's not much Ephraimites out here. You know, is there somebody, but there's not a lot. All right, Assyrians and all these different things. They're not there. It's not on the level. Although it is a melting pot, it's not on the level as America. Same thing with the UK. All right. Because everyone wants to get to America because that's that top city, all right? Or at least they wanted to at one point, okay? Let me read that again. And the 10 whores which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The 10 whores dealing with what? NATO and the EU, okay? And it says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're going to turn on America too. That's why it says the ones that were at peace with thee laid a snare for you, roughly paraphrasing. So in other words, they're going to turn on her. Okay. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Yeah. All right. That's not Vatican. That's Babylon the Great. Okay. That's why they can set up sanctions. You know, I'll sanction this, sanction that, because they have the power. They're Iran can't set sanctions on people because they're not on the level of power as that America's in. You know, it's a joke. You see? So I wanted to touch on that. And another point I want to get is that in the midst of World War III, Yahweh Shai is going to pop up. Okay, in the midst of World War III. So we know that that's, things are going to move quickly, man. You see? This is 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 3. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Excuse me. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself. So there's all these nations that came from the four winds, right? That's them armies, man. They're going to come to fight against Yahweh Shai. All right, you're going to have Negroes in the army, the Native Americans, Latino Israelites in the army. That's also going to be there fighting against their salvation. You see? Well, so show you that's showing you that they're worshiping the beast. Okay? But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. That was the chariot. But I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, Salakia, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instruments of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of a innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So the Lord is going to destroy that multitude, man. Okay? He's going to destroy those armies. All right? So it's not a good thing to be part of the military right now. All right? Because you're going to be a part of the military. You're going to end up being destroyed. Okay? So with that, hopefully that was edifying. Hopefully that answers some of you people's questions. Hopefully that edified you brothers out there that are pushing this word as well. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Dash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there. Shalom.